Unlike some kids now who come out of the womb knowing how to use Blender and being fantastic at it, I did not start with 3D art as my main medium. I actually started as a 2D artist, specifically a digital artist. And as a current 3D artist, I always try to find ways where I can incorporate my 2D design knowledge. Any excuse that I have to use 2D art, I'm gonna do it. So I want to do a series of recreating classical paintings into 3D works. Let me just say, I am not a character artist. That is literally at the bottom of my skill set. I hate doing characters, but I know that I have to work on it to become more varied in my skill set. So that's what today's challenge is going to be. As for which painting I'm doing, I settled on this absolutely iconic one to start off with. It's called American Gothic. You can see it right here. So stay tuned to see my recreation of it. So I can never go into a model without any kind of concept or idea. I'm an extremely visual person, so I need to have some kind of sketch. Also, my background is in traditional art, or digital art, and traditional art, just like 2D art in general. So this definitely helps my brain like conceptualize everything. And I think if more people actually started doing sketches, I think that they would understand their models a bit better, because I feel like having an artistic eye, at least for me, has seriously improved my 3D art. So I knew that with the time that I would allot to doing this, because I do have to work and everything else like that, I would not be able to do a realistic portrait. Also, my skill set is just not there yet, even though I would love to. So I'm settling more for a kind of caricature illustrative look, because that's also something that I'm comfortable with and that I can achieve using low poly modeling and some nice hand painted textures. Okay, so I'm about exactly 30 minutes in, and this is my sketch for the low poly idea, keeping it super simple, kind of illustrative looking. I'm super excited about this. I love doing kind of like caricature-y kind of portraits, so I think that this works. And I'm not a character modeler. Character modeling is like the bottom of my list out of all the 3D stuff I do. I hate it. I think I would rather do rigging than character modeling. But I'm gonna challenge myself. I think I got the majority of the details that I want from the original painting. Yeah. Trying to see if I'm forgetting anything. I thought about doing like a turnaround sketch, but honestly, I don't want to waste that time. I think this will give me enough of an idea of where to go. So I'm gonna open up Maya, put this in Maya, and just start doing my silhouette. So here you can see me starting my block out. I did not have fun doing this, at least this first character, because again, like I said, character modeling is not my thing, but also I'm using Maya for it, which I probably should have been using Blender. But when I go about character modeling, my fatal flaw is that I think about it like hard surface modeling, because that is what I'm most comfortable with, but it's really hard to make these low poly shapes in Maya, especially if you need them to look kind of organic, because these sculpting tools are so incredibly weak. So, from when I last recorded, I have done quite a bit of modeling. I'm trying to keep it as stylized as possible and as low poly as possible. I'm not sure how I'm feeling about it. I think it's okay. I think whenever I get my shader and my textures on, I'll like it a lot more. But let me show you the kind of, this perspective is what it would be, and I haven't gotten my overlay for the camera yet, but it would be kind of like that square. So I have a lot of cheating the camera happening right now with everything in the perspective, right? So I can get that perfect shot, but I'm kind of happy with that. I think it's pretty cute. I don't think it's perfect, but I actually need to do their lips. I forgot about doing that. And then I'll get to UVing and painting my textures. So my favorite way to do UVing is to do camera based first, and then I can actually go in and cut my seams. If I'm really in a rush and the thing's not being animated or it's not being looked at super closely, I'll go in with an automatic UV. But for something like this, I really wanted to take my time so that it looked exactly the way I wanted to. Especially since with hand painted textures, if you're painting over a seam line, it can give you a really weird crease. So at this point, I've already gone back and forth between Maya and Substance Painter quite a few times because I find that usually the first time I import into Substance, I find some problems or whatnot. But here I had some pretty good luck, and by the time you're watching this, I've already done a lot of my base colors and everything like that, and I'm doing the majority of the hand painted details to make it look more illustrated. I really wish that I gave the house in the back some more geometry because I ended up painting a window on it, which I was just not satisfied with. But by the time that I was doing it, I was tired and kind of just needed to finish it up. So extra geometry definitely would have helped me out there a ton. Before anyone gets on to me, yes, I know I need to start labeling my layers. I am just super lazy about it, and I've been like that ever since I started digital art. But I'm flipping off all of my hand-painted layers to really show you how much added detail it provides. Here's the before and after of the hand-painted details. Obviously, the one to the left doesn't have any, but the one to the right does. So I would encourage anyone who isn't super confident in like their sculpting ability, I guess, for low poly to really focus on getting good hand painted textures, because a good hand painted texture on a low poly model will be absolutely life changing. At this point, I started getting my lighting ready. There's a lot of pressure since I'm using a reference of a classical painting to get the lighting exactly like it. But I knew that was just not going to be attainable for me, especially at this skill set that I'm at currently. So I just wanted to get something that highlighted all of the aspects and made sure that none of my pieces got muddy, especially since the two front characters are kind of standing close to each other. I really struggled with the woman behind him kind of blending into his coat, and that could be because I did the coat too dark of a color. And that's something that I would redo if I was to do this project again, is that I would make it a lighter color. Also, the house in the background, the first house, that needs to be a lighter color. I didn't notice until I finished and I started comparing this to my reference that the house in the back of the original is white and in this one it's beige. I don't really know what I was thinking. I just don't think I was looking at my reference enough. See, the problem is that I wasn't thinking, but you live and you learn. Once my render was complete, I brought it into Krita. Krita is absolutely my favorite open source software ever for digital art in general. I have used Clip Studio, I've used Photoshop, Procreate, none of them compare to Krita. Krita is just awesome. I can go on and on about it. But I love adding all these details to the final work. One, because I don't think I would have been able to achieve the same look if I just used Arnold effects for rendering. And this gives me a chance to use a bit more of my artistic eye to add things that maybe I forgot about. I would recommend to everyone, after you do a render, it is not cheating to go and to do some edits to it. If anything, it's encouraged. Since I wanted it to look like an oil painting, I really don't think there would have been any other way for me to achieve that kind of overlay and grain without doing some post-processing effects. As a reward for watching this video to the end, here are my results, and thank you so much for watching.